Imagine you're a ninth grader in high school. You have been feeling sad and blue and you don't know why. You try and stay caught up with your schoolwork, but you have no energy or motivation to do anything. Your teachers are getting worried about you, but they can't help you. You can't afford therapy and your school doesn't have any options for the bettering of mental health. So you feel like you're stuck this way forever. You ask your parents for help, but they tell you they just can't afford therapy right now and you just have to suck it up. You get worse and worse until you don't think you can handle it anymore. If only you had some affordable, accessible way to better your mental health. The mental health of school-age individuals has been on a continuous downhill slope. Just a few years ago, I did a study in my own high school. The study consisted of sending out a survey to 100 random students from grades 9 through 12. Approximately 85% of these students had been diagnosed with depression and/or anxiety. Even worse, 60% of these students thought about or tried committing suicide. Individuals within this age group don't have near as many available resources to try and get help with their mental health, and the sources that are available tend to run too expensive for them to be able to afford. Schools need to employ free licensed therapists as school counselors to help meet the school's attendees' mental health needs. Okay, so first of all, schools need to always have counselors on staff that are openly available to all students. Only 24 states out of 50 require schools to hire school counselors from grades K through 12. These 24 states also have mandates that state approximately one full-time or part-time counselor is required for every 450 to 500 students. This means that 26 states do not require schools to have counselors employed. Statistics show that 1 out of every 5 students don't have access to a school counselor. And since there are mandates on how many counselors that are required, schools tend to only hire the least amount possible. This leads to the few counselors that are actually being hired stretched too thin to help benefit everyone. So, for example, if only one counselor goes for about 450 to 500 kids, there would have to be many, many kids and students that aren't getting the attention they need. Especially with counselors that also have to do other things besides provide therapy to students. Like for my school, for example, we only had one guidance counselor for about 400 students. This counselor was there for therapeutical reasons, but he also had many other duties like creating every single student's schedule and dealing with school suspensions and stuff like that, and many more things. Anyways, let's say that there's one counselor per 400 students and half the students want therapy. If the counselor has 7 hours a day, 7 days a week, just for therapy, they could see 98 students in a week with 30-minute sessions. It would take over 2 weeks of constant therapy for each student to be seen. And since therapy is usually a weekly thing and guidance counselors have other things to do, it's just completely impossible to achieve with the amount of counselors that are available at this moment. Second of all, therapy sessions are much too expensive as it is. So, for online therapy sessions, a 60-minute session can cost as low as $40 to as high as about $70, and in-person sessions can cost as low as $50 to as high as $150 per 60-minute session. School counselors, on the other hand, are free to the individual student, and therefore they save them quite a bit of money. An in-person weekly session would equal to about $200 to $600 just for 1 month of therapy, while online sessions equal to about $160 to $280 a month for therapy. School counselors can be employed by the schools and get paid by them instead of by the individual person, which would also save a lot of money in the economical aspect too. Okay, so 3, I want to talk about teenagers' mental health and how it's headed down the drain. Teenagers from ages 13 to 15 show clear proof of having predominating depression in a survey that was done. Teenagers aged 17 through 19 then showed statistics within the survey of having suicidal thoughts. And out of those kids, every 1 out of 6 of these individuals had these horrible thoughts. So when people in this age range are showing such severe signs of bad mental health, it's clear that they're missing something, and I believe that something is accessible therapy. Most of these individuals are going without any sort of help, which leaves them getting worse instead of better. So with all of these individuals having this worsening mental health, it's dire that they're given the help they need. In conclusion, schools should be hiring enough therapists as school counselors to give each and every student the attention they need to help them and treat them. It's also much cheaper in the long run for school to hire a counselor than to have the individual person to go see the therapist anyways. It's just very important that this mental health gets taken care of, otherwise we're going to have higher suicide rates, and no one wants that.